what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna play this game. It's been a while, so I have no idea. I think I went shopping last time. I should have watched the video. Sorry, guys. Alright. August ended, September began. It was time to go back to school. Ugh. Okay. I do like buying, like, stationery, though, for school. That was, like, my favorite thing. Lizzie groaned and complained the entire first week. She hated going to classes. Still, there were interesting things to do that couldn't be done anywhere else. I weren't sure how Cove felt about it. He was enrolled that year. That was like a sign Cove would be staying in Sunset Bird for a while. At school, he was alright, but kept his distance from other kids. From what you saw, anyway. Whenever he could, Cove stuck to like glue. Oh, teenage friendship! An achievement, yay! Okay. He didn't even mind that much what you did to pass the time as long as it was together. Okay, hold on. Jesus, hold on. Okay. Just scooching everything around a little bit. That way I could see everything that's happening. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Okay, alrighty. Okay. That year, the divorce of Cove's parents was finalized. You ever heard your parents talking about it, saying Cove's dad got full custody? Ooh, girl. Okay. At first, you worried that meant bad news. It made Mr. Holden cry, apparently. Oh! Like happy tears? Then he found out that Cove would keep living with his dad. He would only stay with his mom a few weeks of the year. Cove cried too, for different reasons you thought. It seemed like Cove and his dad might move again, but Mr. Holden decided to stay after all. Mom asked him about it once. He said he didn't want to uproot Cove's life a second time. Didn't he uproot like multiple times though? Like, didn't they go to like multiple schools? Mr. Holden tried to get Cove to like Sunset Bird more. He kept encouraging his son to go out and see the place. Sometimes he volunteered that you'd spend time with Cove. He seemed very confident that it was an effective strategy. Cove never talked to anybody about what happened with his parents and withdrew whenever it was brought up. It was hard for him, yet nobody knew how to help. Eventually, Cove stopped crying on his own. You can't understand what had changed. Still, you worried about him. You could tell that he wasn't completely happy. Maybe one day he could say aloud what he felt inside. After that, I felt like things had gone back to normal, except what was normal didn't stay the same. Years passed, and suddenly you were in middle school. You weren't a kid anymore. You were 13 years old. Ha! Preteen no longer, bitch. That officially made you a teen. Yeah, exactly, even if your sister didn't agree. How old is she then? Is she older than me? She's like 15, right? The toys and crayons that used to litter every free space in your home had been packed away somewhere, replaced by new hobbies. There were other changes too. Oh, his cats got taken off. It was weird to see him without it initially. Underneath the pink plaster ended up being a long, thin scar that snaked across his forearm. Cove's chest puffed out in pride when someone drew attention to it. He also went through a major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class for 2 years in a row. Cove will probably hold that spot again next time. In class, people knew him for more than just being tall. He also stood out because how well he did in the gym and other athletic situations. Over the years, he began to open up more too. You saw him talking amicably with other kids or neighbors from time to time. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Shiloh, well, he was gone. Aw, the kid with the sailor shit? Okay. He and his mom moved back south because of work just 1 year after Cove came to Sunset Boulevard. I always want to say Boulevard. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks. Oh, poor Lizzie. But nobody talked about Shiloh anymore. It was a long time ago. You learned some heartbreaking things became less sad the further away they were, even if they had never gotten any better. That was sad in its own way. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all, but it wasn't like how it was before. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanting something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You remember calling her mommy as a kid, but something like that seemed awkward nowadays. You were much too old for the word. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname too. She insisted on everyone calling her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mom soon gave her permission to go places other than the playground and shopping street, which she took advantage of. You rarely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she hardly spent time with you the way she did before. Instead, she associated more and more with the girls from school who were her own age. Maybe the difference between 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. You started befriending new people yourself, like Derek Suarez. Suarez? He didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cove's dad struck up a business partnership a few months ago. I wonder what they're doing. Since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to work, if Derek had the time for it. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed, in small and big ways. You had too. As time went by, though, it was easy to settle into this new normal. Then before you knew it, school was over and summer vacation had come again. Oh, are we back in summer? We're back in summer. Okay. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was hot as ever, but you were inside and away from its harsh rays. To be more specific, you were... Oh God. I would never sleep in. Wide awake, about to head out to enjoy your time off. Boom, baby. What was that? That was on my computer. I don't know what I got. Was it an achievement? You made sure to slather on a generous amount of sunscreen so you didn't get burnt. Okay. Dope. Check that skin, yo. You were looking in the mirror, studying the clothes you'd thrown on when your bedroom door opened without warning. In the reflection, you saw Elizabeth raise an eyebrow. Oh, damn, girl. What's up? Alright. She still looks like a bitch. Okay. Have you been staring at yourself this whole morning? Could you knock? She ignored that, crossing her arms over her chest with a disgruntled expression. Clearly, she hadn't come in just to see you. Mom told me to tell you that your friend's at the door. He brought some happy summer gift from Mr. Holden. Mom wants you to take it from him, saying thanks to her or whatever.
Come on.
So, come down already. Okay. Okay, fine. Alright. She said nothing else and left, having done what was instructed of her. Now alone, you focus on the mirror once again. You're very tall now. You're pretty tall. Okay, your reflection went over the whole length of the mirror. Your reflection fit comfortably your average height. There was a lot of open real estate. You had trouble getting your reflection to appear. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna just go average height. Cove was really tall. Derek was kind of short, but you were pretty much the exact height that someone would expect for a 13-year-old. I don't know. You weren't sure. I don't know. I feel like I would be ambivalent. Things kept changing. With the height you actually had and what was the impression of the height that was based on your age, it was confusing. Then you put the finishing touches on your outfit while ruminating on the situation. Careless as they had been, Elizabeth's words piqued your curiosity. Okay. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to, so this worked in your favor. Your reflection grinned back at you. You were looking forward to seeing him. You left your room, taking an easy time down the stairs. Oh, it was him. I thought it was Derek. At the door. At the door, Derek, at the door. Second chance. You spotted Mom first, reclining on the couch. She held a magazine in her hands, which she was perusing through. Morning, Mom. She looked up your greeting, a smile instantly appearing on her face.
Thanks.
Good morning, Evie. Thank you for coming down. Ma's at the door with Cove. He can't stay over today, unfortunately. Why don't you go and think it before he leaves? You nodded and made your way to the front of the house. Just as she said, Ma was there making conversation. She must have heard you because she looked over her shoulder.
Oh?
Look who finally made it. Morning, sleepyhead. Ma reached down and you knew she was about to pat you on the head. She was taller than average, so you were a little on her eyes despite being a typical size for your own age. Yeah, you let her do it, whatever. She's your mom, you know? You stood by patiently and indulged your ma's wishes. She gave you 2 taps on the crown of your head. Ah, you're the last one down today, you know that? Morning? I don't know. I feel like all the other responses are kind of bitchy. That's all. You really are a sleepyhead right now. With a small laugh, Moss steps aside. Cove was just as you remembered, exactly how you came to know him to be. Ah, he looks so fucking miserable. Is that a fruit bouquet? For me? He leaned uncomfortably to the side in your doorway as his bushy hair covered part of his face. His features were pinched in embarrassment, and he shifted from one foot to another. He was holding what must be the much talked about gift. At first glance, you figure it must be a bouquet of flowers. Then you give it a real look. No, instead it was carefully cut fruit. That's fantastic. It made a lot of sense that it was actually from Cove's dad. You had to suppress a laugh at the showing. You can imagine many folks buying that sort of thing for their own personal enjoyment. Ah! That was my birthday cake. One year, that was my favorite one. The kind of arrangement was built for the presentation, likely to impress whoever it was inevitably going to receive. It seemed no matter how long he lived here, Mr. Holden would keep going out of his way to be neighborly, and Cove would always be roped into participating. Cove smiled at the sight of you. The sting of his goofy errand was clearly embarrassed to be uneased. Hey, Evie. You smiled back. It was second nature to you. He'd always been such a close friend ever since the two of you were kids. Hey, nice to see you. Yeah, you too. Ah, he's so cute. Your grin widened even more. Every time he came, your mood was frightened. It was already shaping up to be another long summer with plenty of time for the two of you to have fun together. His awkwardness over the task started to creep back in, so Cove nudged to get closer to you. He was ready to be relieved of it. And with that, the gift was accepted. I hope you and your family like this. It's a pretty good gift. I think so anyway. He smiled earnestly. Dad spent a lot of time picking out the best size and design. There were so many options to choose from. Oh, you're too cute sometimes. Aw, Evie. Just thank Dad for all this, okay? Okay. Mr. Holden's behavior was really different from any neighbor you'd ever have. Though after 5 years, you were used to his antics, and you'd since made up your mind on what your opinion was. Yeah, he was nice. You knew that he wasn't completely perfect, but he always seemed to try hard for the sake of others. Your thoughts were quickly interrupted by a shout. There you are! You shared a confused look with Cove as both of you stepped through the open door onto the neighborhood street. It didn't take long to locate the source of the noise. You spotted Derek just a few yards down the road, hearing up to you. You were happy? I don't know, sure. We're happy. Okay. Derek was certainly a welcome guest in your neighborhood. It was a pleasant surprise whenever he showed up. After stopping a couple steps away, Derek hunched over to catch his breath. Then he looked up with a wide grin.
Hey.
Hey, guy and gal. Aw. He looks like a fucking punk. Alright, I was just at your house, Cove, but no one was there. Should have figured you'd be at Evie's place. Do you ever spend your time in your own home, or are you always just there? Derek laughed at his own joke. He either didn't notice an embarrassed Cove, or the embarrassment was what was actually laughing at. Derek turned to you. He was going to say more, then his eyes widened and he gasped. What's that? You followed his gaze unsure. Then you realized what he meant. You were holding Mr. Holden's gift still. I know I'm saying things backwards. Apologies. It's kind of like a bouquet of flowers, but made out of fruit.
Nice.
Can I have some? Yeah, sure, we could share. Derek grew more excited by your words, bouncing on the balls of his feet. Awesome. Then he nodded his head as if to clear it. Anyway, that's right. I came here because I needed to say something big. He paused, possibly for effect. There's some other kid here, it's Sunset Bird. Is it Shiloh? Okay. Cove was as surprised as you were by the news. Such a reaction made sense. No one around your age had moved here since Cove did 5 years ago. Were they with their family? Maybe they were coming through. Nuh-uh. The new kid was all by himself, just walking. Did you talk to him?
Nope.
No, I came to report the sighting right away. The kid had green hair, glasses, and was pretty small and seemed really upset about something. I hope he didn't leave. You blinked, slowly looked over to your longtime neighbor. That sounds a lot like you, Cove, when you first got here anyway. It kind of does, doesn't it? That's weird. He sounded almost fond, a small smile playing on his lips. Derek snickered good-naturedly. I can see that really well now that you say so. But what'd you say? Let's go find Cove's lookalike. We should all meet him.
Sure.
I'll do it. Sure, I want to see who this person is. Derek grinned and he pointed down the street the way he came. Last I saw him, the mystery visitor was going in this direction. Nothing else needed to be said. The three of you were off with Derek leading the way. Go ahead, Derek. Show us the way. Derek brought you to the beach, and as a trio, you made your way down the shore to the old playground. You walked the familiar path in a comfortable silence. When you were almost there, you spotted the kid in question. His bright colors almost shone like a beacon beneath the rays of the sun. He had scuffled around, kicking up the sand as he paced. It was true. He certainly seemed upset, but you didn't think he was sad like you originally pictured. No, with his erratic movements and scrunched up expression, he came off angry. You started to have doubts about this expedition. Maybe it'd be better if you left him alone and let him sort himself out. Derek didn't feel the same. He waved wildly, calling out to the boy, "Hey, guy, over here!" Oh shit, he does look like Cove. But like, with a little bit that guy from, Despicable Me. The villain, right, with a bowl cut. The kid whipped around and an impressive scowl carving deeper onto his face. His eyes were tired, but a strong, hostile energy still radiated from him.
What?
Oh, damn, son. Okay, what? What is it? What do you want? The sharp tone made Derek flinch. He shifted on his feet. What's your name? Jeremy. Was that it?
No.
No, I'm Derek. That's Evie and Cove. We were just walking around and saw you. We wanted to say hi. There aren't a lot of kids our age in the neighborhood. Yeah, so, it's cool to see someone else here. Strangely, Jeremy grew furious by your response. If steam could erupt from a person's ears, it would have happened then. They did bring me somewhere stupid. Of course, I knew it! Oh, damn, son. Okay, what?
My parents.
Yeah, my parents. They're the ones who brought me. I didn't walk to this town. Can you not figure that out on your own? Jesus Christmas, he's a piece of shit. Okay. Right. My dad brings me to Sunset Bird too when he has to come for work and all that stuff. It's not bad. That earned him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced beneath it, glancing away. It was a struggle to remain friendly with this Jeremy guy. I mean, I wouldn't want to come here for a real vacation, probably either. That's an understatement. This doesn't count as a vacation. It's a waste of time, a chore. My parents' family is nearby and we had to come see them. Ugh. If they're your parents' family, doesn't that make them your family too?
I guess.
Thanks, Cove. That's a pretty good reason to come by. Did you want to go somewhere else? No. Jeremy crossed his arms with a huff. He turned away. They should have gone by themselves since they cared so much and left me home, but I'm not allowed to be by myself. It makes no sense. They're the ones who don't know how to do anything, and I'm the kid? Oh my lord. Who peed in your cereal? Yeah, I'm gonna just keep quiet, man. You had no idea what to say on this, so you stayed silent. Jeremy didn't even notice, too focused on ranting. How do they always make summer vacation worse every year? You turned to Cove, lowering your voice. The two of you aren't that similar after all. Jeremy must have good hearing, though, because he caught the private exchange and scoffed.
Stupid.
Of course we're not similar. My eyebrows aren't stupid. Whoa! Cove's cheeks flushed crimson at the insult. You couldn't be sure if it was out of embarrassment or anger. Maybe both. Come on. What? My dog, sorry. Don't listen to them. They're really unique and special. Whoa! No, I'm not gonna do that. How can you say that when you have a bowl cut? No, Cove! Cove's wavy eyebrows are so cool. Cove smiled weakly. Now I know why you thought we had anything in common. You must be blind. You lunge towards Jeremy. Oh, God. You pat Cove on the shoulder. Cove gave you a watery look in exchange for the silent support. Trying to talk to the rude boy clearly wasn't going anywhere. Wow, what is wrong with you? Instead of taking offense, Jeremy only parroted Derek's words in a nasally voice.
Wow, what is wrong with you?
Wow. This is dumb. Oh my god, he's so mean. Jeremy stuck out his tongue and sulked away, throwing more sand everywhere as he went. You watched him go, hunched over, until he became a speck in your vision. Silence reigned in his wake. The three of you tried to process what just happened. I don't blame us. I can't believe it. What a mean kid. Derek wasn't kidding. And by the sound of those earlier complaints, the new boy Jeremy was going to be in the area for at least a little while this summer. Derek sighed in dismay, plopping to the ground. You followed, and Cove did too, shortly after. There wasn't much else to do.
This sucks.
I was hoping we could meet someone fun. Hang out, maybe. He shook his head. After a moment, he slowly turned to you with a hopeful expression. But, you know what would really improve the day? What? He didn't respond. Instead, he used a hand to point. Right at the fruit arrangement that you were still holding. Why am I still holding this thing? Why didn't I put it inside? Okay. You completely forgot about it during the mini drama that unfolded. You'd gotten used to the wait. Glancing over to Cove, you noticed he was eyeing the fruit. He must want some too. Yeah, why not? Let's eat. Derek perked up immediately at your words. He reached out for a skewer, hesitating slightly once he was inches away.
Are you sure?
Sorry. Are you sure? You nodded. With an eager grin, he plucked at a prime row of fruits. Cove grabbed one for himself after him. Only you were without a skewer of your own. Oh my god. Tons of strawberries. The strawberry was a bright red and beckoning you. It was the obvious first choice. Derek ate the pineapple skewer enthusiastically, finishing it within moments. This is amazing. It's not different than any other normal fruit. It's kind of worse. They've been out in the open with their skins off for a while. Sheesh. Hey, you two remember the Land Before Time? Oh my god! Yes! Okay, the fruit thing makes me think of it. The dinosaurs that all like the leaves that were shaped like stars. Tree stars.
Yeah.
Chomping leaves looked so delicious when they did it. And there was that scene with the pretty trees and all the dinosaurs came in and picked everything off them till there was nothing. That's us right now. Awesome. I like Derek. He's very nice. I love that movie. I do. That's a good movie. It's so sad though. Me too. Three of you continued like this for the next few minutes. Eventually the display was barren. It looked weird when devoid of fruit. It did help make you feel better. Derek was right. It was good that you were already brightening up from the drama earlier. Hey, Evie. Yeah? The two of you met eyes casually. Thanks for what you said back then. It's nice not everyone thinks like that guy. Oh, it's okay. He was just being a jerk. Derek chimed in strongly. Don't listen to a Cove. He's the problem. People shouldn't say those kinds of things. Yeah. Derek then leaned back on his arms. He contemplated the sky with a content sigh. So, are you both ready for summer break? Yeah. Why not? Cool on you. Wish I could say the same. Feels like there's a lot to plan for. And what about you, Cove? Are you ready? I think that depends. Before you could say something else, the light atmosphere was shattered.
Hey!
Ooh. Evie! Evie! You glanced over your shoulder to see your sister. She strode closer and closer, appearing none too pleased. I've been looking all over for you. Ma said you and Cove ran off with the thing Mr. Holden brought for us. She leered over your arms. She leered over you with arms folded. So, where is it? Whoops. Well, it's gone. What do you mean gone? You moved over to the side to face her completely. She zeroed in on the bouquet in your hands, which was now populated exclusively with skewers dripping in juice and tiny flecks of leftover fruit pieces. Her mouth dropped open and the tone of her voice rose.
What?
Seriously, Evie, what were you thinking? It was supposed to be for all of us at home. She glanced at Cove, who sat beside you, and continued mockingly. Even if you did have an in with the delivery boy, this was up to Mr. Holden. Cove gave you a bent smile of support, which didn't help disprove her accusation. You're hungry? Elizabeth narrowed her eyes, not at all okay with that kind of response. Oh no, I think I hear the meat kid coming back. We better get out of here. Elizabeth blinked, confused, and looked around.
What?
What kid? I don't see anyone. Dirk didn't bother explaining. He just launched to his feet and ran off. Cove hopped up too, gladly taking the opportunity to exit the situation. He followed after Derek, but sent a look over to you from his shoulder. You turned to watch Elizabeth. She stared back, brow raised. I ran. Bye! Without a word, you two got to your feet and bolted down the beach. Unimpressed, Elizabeth rolled her eyes.
So immature.
Sorry, girl. Alright, she shook her head as she walked towards the house, not bothering whatsoever to follow. Alright. Meanwhile, the three of you made it back to the shoreline. Derek pumped his fist, grinning in triumph. We escaped and shall live to see another day. Victory! Huzzah! You threw your arms up in celebration. You chuckled together, walking further down the beach side by side. You definitely wanted to stay outside a little while longer. You got a bit of scolding from your moms for not saving of any of Mr. Holden's gift for Elizabeth. Oh, it was just for Elizabeth. But you didn't get any real punishment for it. Instead, while you were out with the boys, Elizabeth returned home to share the news. The three of them went to get dessert on their own. Oh, nice, okay. It was declared even by your parents when everyone got back, and the event was settled. That was a while ago now. Later that night, you found yourself seated near the kitchen counter. Ooh, your fingers drummed on the surface as you waited, your gaze trained on the phone. You're waiting on a call tonight, specifically from your cousin Leandra. You didn't want to miss it accidentally. Your uncle, aunt, and Lee used to live many hours away. Your families only saw each other a few times a year for big occasions. A while back, though, they moved and were closer than ever before. You now hung out regularly. With school being out, you're positive she's going to want to come over a lot. The two of you were the same age and got along well. She used to be really fond of Lizzie. Elizabeth, too, but now that your sister had just become allergic to interacting with her own family, it tended to just be you and Lee who spent time together. Being family helped make you close, but you had a lot of girlfriends. I feel like I'm like a one-and-done person, so she's your only friend that was a girl. You weren't all that close with any other girls your age. Oh, big Nat. But you didn't really have a lot of other friends either. Sure, that sounds like me. Ma said that quality was more important than quantity when Elizabeth bemoaned your small social circle. You weren't sure how friendship quality was judged, but nevertheless, you thought that what you had with Lee was good. Then the shrill ringtone announced an incoming call. You jumped before grabbing the receiver and pressing it to your ear. Hello?
Hi!
Hi, Evie, it's Lee. I'm glad it's you. For a second there, I thought you might be one of Elizabeth's friends. There was static on the end, as if Lee were shifting wherever she was. So, can you believe school's actually over? I thought it'd never be done. Now that we don't have any of the boring stuff, we get to hang out whenever we want. Speaking of hanging out... Lee, can you wait a second? Let me just head to my room.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You got up from your seat at the counter. Luckily, the phone was wireless, so you didn't have to worry about any cords tying you down. Your mom's had a rule about not moving the phone unless a call was in progress, which was why you'd been sat by its cradle waiting for Lee to call. I guess. That makes sense. Maybe it's just so I don't lose it? I don't know. It was nice to keep everything in its proper place. But now that Lee had called, it was okay for you to go upstairs to your bedroom and talk to her. You made your way up the stairs smiling. After you'd arrived, you shut your bedroom door firmly behind you. You took a seat on your bed. Alright, I'm here.
Cool.
Hey, did you know the girl down the street from me has her own phone now? A cell phone. She doesn't have to wait for someone else to stop using it or anything. Wow, really? The thought of someone having a phone that was all over their own seemed unbelievable to you. Yeah, So, I mean, I'm 13, though. Right? I wish I had one, too, but my parents said I couldn't get my own until I'm more grown up. I wish they'd changed their mind. We could call each other every single day and no one would be able to stop us. How great would that be? But wouldn't I still be using a home phone? My moms would be able to stop us if they wanted to. Lee laughed. You didn't put a damper on her imagination.
Oh.
Oh, then you have your own food too. Okay, that works. She sighed dramatically. Okay. I bet I'm not gonna get one until I'm all the way in college. Squeezing the phone between your shoulder and ear, you popped out your pillows and made yourself more comfy. It was strange to think of a time when normal school would be over and you'd have to choose whether or not to go to college. School is a strange big part of your life now. You worked hard for your excellent grades? No. Everything, no. No. You didn't bother at all in school and your grades reflected that? No. I got pretty average results. You guess that was reasonable enough? And you hope to do just as well, but it wouldn't be a big deal if they dropped some. Keep my expectations solid, bitch. Okay. Grades were not the most important thing, no matter how good or bad they ended up being. Yeah. You tried to sound engaged, but your mind had decided to go back to school despite the season. Lee knew you too well to be fooled.
What's up?
You sound so spacey. What's up? Just thinking about school. Lee groaned. Are you thinking about how we don't have to think about it because it's summer? That's what I'm doing. Let's make a petition for more vacation. Yeah, everybody in class will sign it. Maybe some of the teachers, too. Though, I guess school isn't all the way bad. You could do some good things there. You could just do more when school's out. Learning new things could be cool. There's nothing good about my school. I don't think that's applicable. The cafeteria lunches, no. I think learning new things is cool. I just wish everyone did okay with how they taught the things, not just some people.
Me too.
Okay, gym is pretty great though. Sometimes. I don't think that in middle school. Yeah, it's the easiest way not to hang out with people not in the neighborhood. If I didn't go to school, I'd never meet anybody new. No one really comes here. Gym's pretty great though. There was all sorts of sports during gym. Oh yeah, it could be fun sometimes. But that was all. That was it. That's pretty much everything that's good about school. Okay, point taken.
Alright.
Now I decree the topic of school is officially closed. Hold up. Sorry, I'm back. I just crammed food and then killed my dog. Did you see her in the background? She's so cute. She's loud, but she's cute. Hold on. My hair. Ugh. Okay. We have to talk about the summer first before we start planning the rest of our lives. I've got some plans already. Ooh, tell me. I'm gonna visit my cousins. Me? You chuckled, of course. What's something you want to do? The first thing that comes to your head. I want to spend time with the beach. I could have guessed that one. You lean back in your bed, settling in as you continue chatting with your friend. Even though it hadn't been that long since you saw her and you'd be seeing her soon, you found plenty to talk about. For one, the events of the day. You sat up straighter. I was with Cove and Derek today and we met a new kid. We get your neighborhood? Uh-huh. His parents are visiting family, so it sounds like he'll be around for a little while. I don't know how long. What was he like? Mean. He was mean. He kept snapping when all we were trying to do was talk to him. He just kept being rude to everyone. But especially Cove, it was awful. I don't think I want to meet him. You want a boy to stay away before even meeting him? That's not an unexpected twist. Oh, damn! Okay, your cousin was pretty popular with the boys who knew her. She seemed happy enough to have them around until they started to annoy her. Who are you to talk? Cove and Derek are always around. They're both boys, you know. Okay, that's true. Lee laughed at your affirmation, deeply amused. Even though she couldn't see, no. My brain broke. Even though she couldn't see, you shook your head at her, grinning to yourself. There was a thumping noise approaching your room, heralding the arrival of your irritated older sister. She flung the door open, a frown etched on her face.
Come on.
How long are you gonna hog the phone? Glancing at your watch, you realized that your quick call had gone on much longer than anticipated. Elizabeth held out her hand, the other one lodged on her hip. She noticed the realization on your face. Time's up. Okay, no, get out of my room. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I gotta go. I'll see you soon, okay?
Bye.
Okay, see ya. Tell Elizabeth and your moms I say hi too. You barely pressed the end call button when Elizabeth whisked the handset from your fingers and began dialing someone new as she strode out of the room. Your mom's voice called down from downstairs. Hey, has anyone seen the phone? I'm using it. With that, she shut your door behind you. Silence was left in the wake. That was the one way to end your first day of summer break. Sometime later, it had gone dark outside and you laid in bed wide awake. Your window rattled all of a sudden, startling you badly. You flinched, staring over it with furrowed brows. From your vantage point, you saw only the moon and an open sky. You were curious. What had caused the noise? Cocking your head, you sat up and moved closer to the window. You wanted to get to the bottom of this. To your utter shock, your gaze was met by a pair of familiar ocean blue eyes. Cove? You squinted. Yep, Cove was right outside your window. That's fucking creepy. Your house was very angular and some parts stuck out further than others, so it theoretically wouldn't be hard to climb around on. Still, just because somebody could didn't mean you expected it to ever happen. To his credit, Cove was doing fine. His feet were braced against a section of the wall that jutted out, his arms flexing with the effort to keep himself upright. He easily lifted a hand and waved at you from the other side of the glass. You hurriedly opened the window. Cove climbed over the ledge, releasing a breath once he was safely inside.
Hey.
Hi, Evie. Amazing, my dreams of... Okay, no. Oh, what's up, Romeo? Yeah, this sure is a surprise, but you're always welcome here. Thanks, I needed to talk to you, and it couldn't wait till tomorrow. If I rang the doorbell, I know your moms would have answered, and they would just make me go home. I didn't really want to explain why I was coming over anyway. I don't want to talk about it. Well, besides with you, I mean. That's why I did that. As unexpected as this was, you were touched. Cove felt like he could tell you what was wrong. I might have tried calling or something, except my dad was on the phone. Cove suddenly looked very cross. Ooh. Oh, he was talking to my mom. Still is, probably. You raised your eyebrows. Cove had ears dropped on his parents' phone conversation? I'm not going to comment about it. There are other things to talk about. Are you going to stay with your mom for a while again? Every year, Cove was sent off to live with his mom for a few weeks. When it happened varied. Sometimes he would go during winter break, but usually he went during summer. Even though it was hard news when he found out he was leaving and you missed seeing him those weeks, you understood. To your surprise, however, he shook his head. That's what I thought too, but no, that's not what they were saying. My dad asked my mom not to have me leave this year. He said she could come stay with us here. Oh, damn. The drama. You waited for him to continue. He didn't. The conversation abruptly dropped off. You couldn't help but stare at Cove. There was a complicated mix of expressions on his face. What did your mom say? She told him she'd come. I know she's coming soon, before school starts. Oh. You had heard Cove talk about his mom a lot over the years. He'd tell you about past memories or whatever happened while he was visiting her. Still, it was one thing to hear about someone and another to actually meet them. Very soon you were going to see Cove's mom in person. You were very taken aback by the news, so you can only imagine how Cove felt. You looked over at him. He was pacing across the room, his features pained with dread. But they barely stayed in the same room long enough to have lunch. Now we're all going to be together again? The three of us, after all this time, just for a few weeks. I know I should probably be happy they can talk to each other now. I'm still not. I'm just confused and freaked out. And now I feel really bad for feeling this way. Evie, it's so... His fist tightened and his eyes became misty. I shouldn't keep getting like this. It's been a long time already and I'm not a little kid. Though he wouldn't meet your eyes, you knew he was waiting for you to say something. There's nothing wrong with feeling bad. That is hard to deal with. That's true. The tense line of Cove's shoulders eased. Thanks. That makes me feel a little better. Like I'm not freaking out for no reason. A momentary silence fell over the two of you. You'd marvel at the days started. You'd woken up eager for summer vacation. But now things seem so crazy. The mini debacle with Mr. Holden's gift, the new addition to the neighborhood being so rude. And as if all that wasn't enough, now Cove's mom will be living with Cove and his dad again. Your whole life was kind of like that, it seemed. Complicated and hard and different. Why couldn't things just get better with time? Evie? The sound of your name, said quietly, pulled you from your thoughts. Cove gazed at you, concerned.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. You meant it. You knew some things were still good. Cove grinned reassuringly. It was small and delicate, but you knew it was genuine. He had come here, conflicted and upset, only to end up worrying about you. He really was a great friend. You know, I think I don't want to talk anymore about this. He looked away, his lips thinning into a line, and rubbed his arms. But I kind of wanted to go back home either. Can I stay a little longer just doing something else? He appeared equal parts hopeful and vulnerable. How could you possibly turn him away? Yeah, of course, you could always stay here. You held his gaze confidently, hoping your words got across to him. Cove perked up at your response, a smile appearing on his face. He immediately took a seat on your bed, not afraid to get comfortable in your room. You felt a little better at the sight, somehow, but you still had a lot of worries, but you were glad he was there. And not just tonight, you were glad he came into your life in the first place. That was a change you never want to undo. Aha! It felt totally natural to let him into your little world. That initial friendship had deepened so much over these past years, and you were certain there was room to get even closer. You joined Cove in your bed, taking a seat across from him. He smiled at you again, but you could tell this time it was half-hearted. He was still easy to read. Though he didn't want to talk about his mom and dad, he must be thinking about what happened and what's about to happen. You took his hand in yours. You reached out and gently held his hand. It wasn't much, but you hoped the contact helped even a little. He blinked, startled, before his expression softened into something more natural. Conversation was stilted and broken by silence at first, then both of you were able to get into your usual candor. As your secret hangout session stretched on, you thought you truly wanted to keep having moments like this with them. You hoped a day never came into life. You hoped a day would never come when life decided the two of you would have to part ways, and you knew Cove felt the same. Oh, that would be so sad. I hope they don't. You opened your tired eyes, groaning as they adjusted to the bright light that was streaming through your window and warming your olive skin. With a loud yawn, you rolled away from the sunlight and blinked a couple of times, clearing the sleep from your eyes before realizing with a start that it was actually morning. You couldn't even remember falling asleep. Cove had crept through your window during the night, and the two of you spent time together trying not to wake your parents. You must have fallen asleep while you were hanging out, but couldn't put a finger on exactly when. You wondered how late Cove would stay before heading home. You rubbed your face and yawned again, contemplating whether you should get out of bed and get ready for the day or stay snuggled up for a little while longer. Until your gaze landed on an instantly recognizable mop of pale green hair and you pulled it upright. You gasped in surprise. He never left. He was still there in the morning. I would just laugh. Yeah. He had fallen asleep while sitting on the ground and precariously leaning his head on the side of your mattress. With your laugh, his eyes snapped open and his head slipped from its source of support. He didn't stop going down until he smacked right into the floor with a crack. You clamped a hand over your mouth and looked down at him with wide eyes, curled up where he had landed rather ungracefully. Aw, poor dude. Are you okay? You winced at his tumble, hoping no one else in the house had heard either of your outbursts. Yeah, I'm alright. He rubbed his forehead a little. You weren't sure if that was entirely true. If either of your moms found out Cove had slept here last night, the two of you would be in big trouble. He blinked at you a couple times, his eyes growing in panic as some thought that only he could hear settled in his mind.
Oh my god!
I fell asleep. You weren't exactly sure what to do as you watched Cove pace your room, looking around frantically. His hands flew to his face, letting out a sigh of relief when he found his glasses right where they were supposed to be. Despite that, he hadn't calmed down completely. The atmosphere was still frazzled. Oh, I see his little thingy there, his little scar on his forearm. Yeah, it's gonna be alright. You just need to leave before anyone notices you're here. If they knew, we would have heard about it already. He nodded, his shoulders tensed as he fixed you with a firm stare with his turquoise eyes. Letting out a heavy sigh, he ran a hand through his hair in exasperation. He couldn't look at you again as he spoke. I'll see you later. You were confused by how all this had played out, but hoped that was true. Right. Bye, Cove. At that, you were suddenly wrapped up in a tense embrace. As panicked as he was, this seemed to be something he couldn't forget before leaving. Thanks, again. You're a good friend, Evie. He firmly whispered the words into the top of your shoulder. Oh, my heart. What a good person. But you were let go before you had a chance to respond or even fully react. In a matter of seconds, he had climbed over your bed and opened the window. A cool breeze rolled off the ocean, fluttering through Cove's hair and filling your room with a salty scent. He fearlessly stepped out onto the ledge. Wish him luck. Good luck. Be super careful. You weren't sure if he heard you or not, but he kept going along, one foot in front of the other with increasing speed until his form disappeared out of sight. You stuck your head out the window as far as it could go to keep one watch. He walked the full length of the ledge before jumping down to the top of the garage, then lowering himself onto the fence. From there, he finally dropped down to the ground. You threw out a thumbs up at his successful climb. What a man! He ran off towards his house without stopping, disappearing behind the side of another building. You had to admit that you were pretty impressed about how doable he made that look. I mean, they said he was good at sports, though. With a little sigh, you closed your window. Deciding there was nothing more you could do, you hopped off your bed and got ready to head downstairs for the day. I'm putting on my slippers. You knew it was summer, but your slippers were comfy and cozy and made you feel better whenever you wore them. You took the stairs, slowly attempting to mask your face in a look of innocence. You were sure someone would have come into your room if they hadn't heard anything strange. But you couldn't be too careful. You had to play it cool. When you stepped into the living room, Elizabeth was there, tapping her finger on the counter. Good morning, Elizabeth. She looked over you immediately, her eyes squinting at the greeting.
Why?
Why are you being so weird? You hadn't even done anything. Your big sister never missed a beat, unfortunately. You turned it off for a tight smile, and her lips pursed together even tighter. Evie? You shrugged it off. I'm not. You spoke so nonchalantly you almost thought she believed you, but you knew better. Further suspicious squinting occurred as she waited for something, but ultimately she rolled her eyes and you weren't sure if you were in trouble or not. She didn't seem to care enough to dig any further. Whatever. And then she walked straight out the front door, letting it slam shut behind her, and you let out a brief sigh. Elizabeth went out most days to hang out with her friends from school around town. Today you were extra glad for it, though you were also grateful she hadn't left the house any sooner and risked running into Cove. It looked like you were getting away with that. Breakfast was eaten up in peace and alone. Your moms were both out by the time you had gotten up. They left you a serving of food from breakfast they made, hash browns, an omelet, fruit salad, and there were a few sausage links. I passed on some parts because you were trying to avoid meat. Oh, I passed on some because I'm avoiding animal products. Dope. Your parents still made the most of the food choices in the house, but they've worked on accommodating you since you started talking about becoming vegan. You added some extra things not on their breakfast to your meal too, but the parts you did have were tasty. The day lazily drifted at home and eventually your parents returned. You pulled open the fridge again, lingering in the frosty air for a moment or two before grabbing a bottle of ice-cold water and taking a long drink. It was a perfect, balmy summer afternoon, and you decided to head indoors and find something to do. You hadn't decided what something was yet, but you were sure something would pop up to occupy your time. As you were heading out the front door, you paused for a moment. You hadn't seen Cove since he left this morning, and you couldn't help but think about what happened to him. Would it be bad to go over his house right now, or to call him to check in? You stepped out of your house, still stuck in an internal debate with yourself when a voice caught your attention.
Hi.
Hi, Evie. Confused, you looked over to where an unrecognizable woman was waving at you, a friendly smile plastered on her face. You racked your memory for where you might have seen her before, but nothing came to mind. Not your school, or from the country club your moms took you to. You had absolutely no idea who the woman was. She crossed the roads towards you, and you were a little unsure whether you should stay put or go back into the house and lock the door. Oops. I'm sorry, was that presumptuous? I heard about you, but you have no idea who I am, do you? You shook your head, and she removed her sunglasses to reveal sparkly ocean blue eyes. All of a sudden, she seemed a little more familiar. Is that his mama? My son lives here, and my ex, too. With a bent smile, she lifted a hand to point at the condo across the street from your own house. She was Cole's mom. You didn't know why you hadn't realized it sooner, now that you'd gotten a good look at her. Yeah, it made sense she was Cole's mom. They had the same eyes and other physical traits in common. No matter your thoughts on her, you still felt taken aback that she had appeared so suddenly. Cove mentioned she was coming, but you hadn't gotten the impression it would be the very next day. She extended a hand again, this time for you to take, and you studied the manicured fingers in front of your face and the assortment of bracelets that dangled from her wrists. I'm Kyra? Or is it Kira? I'm Kira Peace. You can call me... I think it's Kyra. You shook her hand. You reached out and took her hand. She shook yours firmly, grinning wide. I'm Evie, but you already know that.
That I do.
That I do. Cove's mentioned you to me before. It's nice to officially meet you, Evie. Cove talked to you about his mom. He hadn't mentioned how he said things about you to her. What has he said about me? Oh, I can't tell you that. I've already said too much. She laughed good-naturedly. You couldn't be happy about that answer, though. Oh, Cove, hey, bud. The sound of a door opening and closing caught both your attentions, and when you turned towards the sound, it was to find Cove exiting his house, his eyes skimming the ground. Considering how tall he had grown, you kind of figured his mom also would have been tall, but she was much more on the shorter side, for an adult anyway. His height must have come from his father.
My baby!
My baby! There you are. I thought you were going to keep me standing out here all day. You tried to catch Cove's eye as he walked towards you, but his gaze was firmly fixed on the sidewalk. When he finally crossed the road and looked up, he gave you a pitiful look. After the way he acted last night, you knew he must be feeling pretty mixed up about this. You tried to wordlessly express that you understood. Cove and I are heading into town to grab something to eat while the snore is at work. Kyra beamed at Cove and ruffled his hair, which seemed to only upset him more. You assumed the snorer she was talking about was Mr. Holden. Hey, you should come with us, Evie. I'd love to get to know you better. Yeah, you should come. There was a pleading in his tone that you couldn't miss. Of course we'll run it by your parents first. Responsibility, all that.
Any whoosies.
Any whoosies? Oh no. It'll give me an excuse to meet them, which I need to do at some point. It's important to be neighborly if I'm going to be roosting on the street for the time being. Any whoosies, let's go. Kyra walked ahead towards your house and he hung back with Cove, who crinkled his nose as he watched her.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about her, but I really do want you to come. I don't want it to be just the two of us. Not right now. You leaned in closer and whispered while checking around for anyone who might hear. What happened? Did your dad know you were gone? He shook his head and sighed heavily. Dad was so focused on Mom showing up that he didn't even notice. I thought when I heard him on the phone last night that it was something they were planning for the future. This morning, Dad said it was supposed to be a surprise, and I guess I was surprised. She's gonna be here all summer. Oh. You were surprised to hear that too. Cove sighed again, even heavier. I'll go with you if you really want me to. He smiled, his shoulders relaxing a little in relief. Thanks, that'd be cool. The two of you headed over to where Cove's mom had just knocked on your front door and stood behind her. Oh, Mom answered the door after a minute, her eyebrows lifting in surprise at the group she found in front of her. You realize that, like you, she would have no idea that it was Cove's mom who was hanging with you. However, after blinking at the woman a couple times and looking between her and Cove, the realization seemed to strike on her. Hello there, I'm Pamela.
I see.
I see you've met my kid Evie, and I'm guessing you've already known Cove for a while. Kyra laughed, and you and Cove exchanged looks at your parents' weird sense of humor. I'm Kyra Priest, Cove's mom. It's so nice to meet you. A head of purple-brown hair caught your eye as Mom popped up behind Mom, squeezing herself in beside her. We have company! I was wondering what all the commotion was. She grinned excitedly at Kyra. The two of them introduced themselves and shook hands. Hi, Evie, Cove. Cove smiled at Ma shyly and she gestured a hand towards the living room. There's no use hanging around in the doorway. Why don't you come in? I'd love to, but I promised to sing my son out to E, and I wouldn't want to hold you up with a surprise visit. Aw, I understand. Well, you're welcome to stop by any time.
Of course.
I'll take you up in the offer when I can. Count on it. Would you mind too much if Evie went with Cove and I? My treat. We won't be driving, just a quick walk down the road. Sure, that sounds nice.
Have fun.
I hope you all have fun. You gave your moms a look and they smiled at you fondly. You were happy they were just letting you go. Yeah, sure, why not? Who cares? You could tell that Cove really needed the support and you were ready to be there for him.
Marvelous.
Expect us back in an hour or two. We look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Okay, your parents waved goodbye to the three of you as you backed up onto the street. There was a sound of the front door closing behind you. I'm pretty positive I saw some restaurants when I was in the taxi, not too far from here. Yeah, it's a tourist town, isn't it? There's a lot of them around. It was strange to see Cove it was kind of strange to see Cove give someone this much attitude. This is an attitude? Compared to Jeremy? If he wasn't in the mood to be nice, he generally just kept to himself. Kyra put her hands on her hips and smiled at her son. Well, you sound like an expert of the area. Do you have any recommendations for a place nearby? Not really. Kyra patted at him a little and turned to you instead. How about you, Evie? Want to point me in the right direction? Sure. I'll nod. You'd been to a lot of places in town, so you knew a couple good ones. There's a Chinese restaurant that me and my family go to all the time. It's my mom's favorite. There's also a tropical themed place that tries to be sort of fancy. Both sound like a treat. I'll leave it to you to pick for us since Cove is going through a phase over there. He huffed at her and turned his face away. Let's go to the... She looks like a tropical person. Let's go tropical.
Thank you.
Thank you, V. Will you show us the way? You nodded, taking the lead of your little group as Cove and his mom followed behind you. Together, the three of you left the neighborhood behind. Beautiful. So I'm gonna save. We'll save... Oh my god, May? Oh, I have so many. Cool, we're gonna save there. Okay, well, we saved. Did I save? Overwrite save? Cool. And then I think I'm going to wrap up for today. This has been about an hour, holy crap, of me doing this. But I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, bye.